17 today to schedule your appointment. That's 217-735-2317. SIU Medicine, forward for you.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
From the Hart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. The Warner Hospital and Health Services is announcing the expansion of an existing partnership and is touting partnerships as instrumental to its success. CEO Paul Skowron explains that while Warner Hospital remains one of the last independently owned rural hospitals, its ability to offer specialized care is built entirely on these collaborations.
Really, the success of the hospital, we are one of the last independently owned rural hospitals. However, that success is really born on our partnerships. And I can go through a long list of partnerships. Think about our radiology reading for our x-rays, our imaging. That's done by Decatur Memorial's radiologists. A few people know that. When we look at the specialty clinic, we've talked about the opening of the West End and the access for the specialty clinic. But the success of the number of specialists that come to this specialty clinic really has taken many years. And we can look at HSHS's Prairie Heart and Dr. Murphy. He's there twice a week seeing patients. We've got Dr. Clark, the GI from Bloomington Normal, coming there twice a week. And the number of specialists from Gibson Area Hospital has increased dramatically in the last year with a neurologist, Dr. Tazuddin, and the urologists that have joined us recently, Dr. Pena, Dr. Farshad, the rheumatologists, and Dr. Keller, the orthopod, and a number of others from Gibson area, Dr. Glickstein, the ear, nose, and throat, who just doubled the time he's seeing patients because of the demand from our family medicine primary care doctors. So these things take time to build a reputation of having a stable of specialists that the family medicine doctors can rely on and the public becomes aware of.
Warner is adding Dr. Sid Rorschib to its primary family medicine and general surgery practices. Dr. Rorschib, a bariatric and general surgery specialist with decades of local experience, is permanently moving his clinical operations into Warner Hospital.
An expansion of our partnership is Dr. Sid Rorschib. He has had Illinois Bariatric as his practice, specializing in bariatrics for years and years. He is bringing that practice into family medicine. And I'm really excited about this because what he's also going to be doing is expanding his general surgical practice. And our ability to leverage that is something we haven't been able to do in the past. As far as what our emergency room transfers out, the kind of general surgical procedures that we transfer out, Dr. Rorschib will now be available to take call from the emergency room. Dr. Rorschib will be here and he'll be taking care of, in general, abdominal pain issues related to adhesions, gallbladder, any type of hernia you can think of. He has done these kind of surgeries over time at our hospital, but not in concert necessarily with the emergency room. So this is something, this coordinated care is something that we're working on with him. And he'll take patients to surgery to remove adhesions, gallbladders. He can excise cysts and lipomas in the clinic or in the OR, but he's also brought his entire bariatric practice into Warner. So these things called sleeve gastrectomy procedures and lap bands, these are specific languages for bariatric patients, overweight patients, and so forth. But those have declined as GLP-1 drugs have become, pop. It is a great time for us to help him expand his general surgical procedures at Warner Hospital and coordinate with Warner's ER for things like abdominal pain, appendicitis, appendectomies, emergency gallbladder removal, small bowel obstructions, food gets stuck. We've handled those things in the emergency room, but then transferred those patients to the larger hospitals. And he will be on call with the emergency room to take care of those procedures. So here is a new partnership that we're very excited about. And this will take time to grow, just like all of the other specialists that have joined us over the years.
Scouring credits positive word-of-mouth patient experiences for driving the hospital's growth, particularly at its new expanded West Side access.
Besides radio, we do access Facebook for sure, but word of mouth is really important. When folks find out through you, we have advertised the new access on the West Side, but it's until people actually have the opportunity to park right next to the specialty clinic and walk right in. I watch every day, and I come out and help sometimes with the patients that are in wheelchairs or are trying to get out of their car as they're being dropped off, and they've got canes and so forth. So I like to help them get up the stairs. But just to walk right in and be able to sit down and have the staff from the specialty clinic greet them, that kind of experience gets out in the community, and it takes time. But they spread the word, and then as those patients come to see their family medicine specialist, they discussed what they've seen over at the specialty clinic, and so they're able to have a broader discussion of the type of specialists that we have here.
Last week at the Heart Media Group, Scourin indicated the city-owned hospital will have to continue to rely on and grow its partnerships because of nearly $1 trillion in cuts to Medicare starting in 2027. The DeWitt County Fairgrounds have been a beehive of activity this summer, and that activity carried on Saturday despite some unexpected morning rain showers. Part of the WHOW Fair Tour coverage on Saturday, DeWitt County 4-H Fair Board President Dan Enos told the Heart Media Group that the annual DeWitt County 4-H Horse Show took place despite the elements putting a wrench in the plans of the participants.
We have horse shows. We've already had on 3 in June earlier, and now we have 3 more in August, the middle of August, I think the 15th, 16th, and then the next week, Sunday, 21st. So there's 3 more shows. All of that raises money for the grounds. The breed shows we have are Appaloosas on 2 different days, that all kinds for national points. And then we have 2 open shows. Bring any breed you want with all the classes, English, Western, games, everything there is, we have them here. For the 4-H show, you have to be a DeWitt, Piatt, Macon County 4-H'er. Right. The open shows is open to anybody. We've had the Appaloosas come from Kentucky here just this last June, Missouri, Iowa. They come from quite a distance just to show here. I think we've got 35 kids. Right now, they're all doing the halter and the showmanship, where they judge the horse. And then we're going to go to English, all kinds of English riding. There'll be some hunter hack that's a jumping. And then we go to the Western riding. And then we do some ranch classes. That's a new coming up. That's a little quicker horse Western that does that. And tomorrow we're going to do trail starting at 9 o'clock, and then all the fun games. Yes, because normally we do the trail today in the old arena that we're wanting to put a roof over, and that soil over there is so wet, it's slippery, and it's not going to dry and not safe to go in. So we have moved trail to Sunday morning at 9 o'clock out in the main ring where we know it'll be safe.
Stephanie Neeson was among the over 30 participants this weekend. She had a mix of young horses and an older horse she was showing this year. She is new to training horses and learning all the time. Lexi Merriman has been around horses her whole life and says she is still learning in her pursuit of training and showing horses. The DeWitt County 4-H Horse Show wrapped up on Sunday. It's off to the general projects and livestock shows in 2 weeks at the fairgrounds. Hear live coverage from the fair on WHOW on Saturday, July 11th from 10 a.m. to noon. Get news anytime, all free, all the time at DeWittDailyNews.com.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
Netflix buffering, YouTube spinning, devices not connecting, Zoom calls dropping. Ugh, it's frustrating. Let's end your frustration by signing up for fiber internet in Clinton. Click the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Looking for the perfect summer night? Head to Decatur and cheer on the Decatur Beanballers. Experience exciting summer collegiate baseball, affordable family fun, great promotions, and an unforgettable atmosphere at the ballpark. Get your tickets and schedule at beanballers.com and catch Decatur Beanballers highlights all summer long on IL Sportswire.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sportswire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. Carter Jensen extended his franchise record rookie hitting streak to 19 games, and 5 Kansas City Royals relievers held the Chicago White Sox scoreless for 5 innings to end a 4-game losing streak with a 5-4 win on Sunday.
The Royals finally snagged one from the White Sox at Rate Field Sunday afternoon. Despite the loss, the Pale Hose finish off their homestand 4-2 after winning a franchise record 10th straight on the South Side. While Anthony Kay did not have his best effort of the season, Miguel Vargas continued his breakout season with another homer, a career high.
Cranked in the air out into deep left, and it's a 2-run homer. Miguel Vargas makes it 2-1.
White Sox hit the road for a 7-game road trip starting in Baltimore Monday night. I'm Jeff Meller, and I'll have your pregame coverage starting at 5 p.m. on the ESPN 1000 Hard Rock Casino White Sox Network.
The White Sox are back in action as they kick off a 3-game series with the Baltimore Orioles tonight on WHOW. Pre-game starts at 5 p.m. Seiya Suzuki singled in 2 runs to a key 3-run 10th inning, and Jordan Wicks, called up earlier Sunday, got a game-ending double play with the bases loaded to preserve the Chicago Cubs' 4-3 victory over the Milwaukee Brewers in the decider of the 3-game series. Joel Kuhnel is 1-3 and relieved to open the 10th. Automatic runner Justin Dean advanced to third on a ground out. Pete Crow Armstrong was walked intentionally with 2 outs and stole second. Alex Bregman was hit by a pitch to load the bases. Michael Busch walked to force in the go-ahead run, and Suzuki followed with a 2-run single to left. Ethan Roberts relieved in the bottom half, and Christian Yelich opened with an RBI single, taking second on the throw home. Jackson Churio walked, and Bryce Harang singled to load the bases with no outs. Wicks, called up earlier Sunday from AAA, relieved and walked pinch hitter Garrett Mitchell to make it 4-3. Jake Bowers flied out in foul territory, and Gary Sanchez bounced to third to start the double play. Jacob Webb is 3-2 and got the win with a scoreless 9th inning. Wicks notched his first save of the season. Stymied into the 6th by starter Brandon Woodruff, the Cubs tied it at 1-1 in the 7th with a run off Aaron Ashby. Ian Happ walked with 1 out and advanced to third on Nico Horner's single. Happ scored on a wild pitch with Horner taking second. Horner moved to third on a balk, and pinch hitter Matt Shaw walked, but Abner Uribe relieved and retired the next 2 hitters. Sanchez staked the Brewers to a 1-0 lead with his 8th home run, a 2-out solo shot in the 2nd off Ryan Rollison. opening a bullpen game with his second start in 26 appearances. Robert Gasser is 1-3 with a 4.5 ERA and starts for the Brewers on Monday in the series opener against the Reds, who counter with Nick Lodolo, who's 2-2 with a 5.59 ERA. Shoto Imanaga is 5-6 with a 4.4 ERA and starts for the Cubs on Monday against the Padres, who have not named a starter. Brian Torres hit a 2-run homer to back Kyle Leahy's stingy start as the St. Louis Cardinals cooled off the Miami Marlins with a 2-1 victory Sunday that snapped a 4-game skid. Mason Wynn led off the second inning with a single against Tyler Phillips, who is 1-3, and Torres followed with his third home run for a 2-0 lead. Leahy is 6-4 and didn't allow a hit until Owen Casey and Graham Pauley had back-to-back doubles to begin the fifth, cutting it to 2-1. Leahy allowed 1 run on 2 hits with 3 walks across 5 innings. Jojo Romero got 4 outs, and Ryan Stanek induced an inning-ending double play in the 7th. George Soriano struck out 2 in a perfect 8th, and Riley O'Brien retired the side in order in the 9th for his 20th save in 24 opportunities. Phillies set down 12 in a row following Torres' homer until J.J. Weatherholt led off the 6th with a single. Ivan Herrera grounded into a double play 4 pitches later, and Alec Burleson bounced out to end the inning. Burleson's 25-game on-base streak ended, and Herrera's 22-game run streak was also stopped. Phillips allowed 2 runs and 6 hits in a season-high 7 1/3 innings. He left in favor of Cade Gibson with runners at the corners, and catcher Joe Mack picked off Nathan Church at third base before Gibson struck out Weatherholt on the next pitch to end the inning. The Cardinals are 43-38 overall and scored just 3 runs in the 3-game series, but avoided being swept by the Marlins at home for the first time in 30 years. Miami is 44-40 and is 18-6 in June, which is the best in the majors, and has won 7 of its last 8 games. Marlins right-hander Sandy Alcantara is 8-4 with a 4.01 ERA and starts Monday's series opener in Colorado. Cardinals lefty Matthew Liberatore is 3-5 with a 5.56 ERA and pitches Tuesday at Atlanta. In scores from around the MLB yesterday, the Pittsburgh Pirates beat the Cincinnati Reds 9-4, while the Washington Nationals beat the Baltimore Orioles 6-4. The Texas Rangers took down the Toronto Blue Jays 3-2, while the Tampa Bay Rays beat the Arizona Diamondbacks 5-1. The Houston Astros beat the Detroit Tigers by a score of 7-5 in 10 innings, while the Philadelphia Phillies beat the New York Mets 5-4. The Cleveland Guardians took down the Seattle Mariners 6-5, while the Minnesota Twins beat the Colorado Rockies 3-2, and the LA Angels beat the Athletics 4-1. The San Francisco Giants beat the Atlanta Braves 3-2, while the LA Dodgers took down the San Diego Padres 4-2, and the Boston Red Sox beat the New York Yankees 5-4 in 10 innings. The St. Louis Blues acquired Brandon Carlo from the Toronto Maple Leafs during the NHL draft on Saturday, those teams' latest steps to remake their rosters during an offseason of upheaval. St. Louis sent the number 73 and number 76 picks to Toronto for the 29-year-old defenseman. Carlo lasted just 88 games with the Leafs after they sent a first-round pick, a fourth-rounder, and a highly regarded forward prospect, Fraser Minton, to Boston for him at the deadline in March of 2025. That was with the previous regime in charge, and general manager Brad Trevelling was fired 2 months ago and replaced weeks later by John Chayka, and they only got to keep the pick this year because they won the lottery for the number 1 overall pick. This is the third trade of the week for the Blues, who are also in transition as GM in waiting Alexander Steen is set to take over for the seasoned executive Doug Armstrong next week. Armstrong, in his final days at the helm, has been plenty busy. On Tuesday, he traded Jordan Kyrou to Washington for fellow forward Connor McMichael, prospect Milton Gastrin, and the number 16 pick, accumulating a league-high 4 in the first round. On Friday night, he sent 2 of them to Anaheim for 23-year-old Mason McTavish, who is signed through 2031. Carlo provides some dependable veteran stability on the right side on defense, especially if the Blues decide to trade Colton Parayko or Justin Falk as part of their summer overhaul. He is going into the final year of his contract at a salary cap hit of just under $3.5 million. Toronto used those third-round picks on Canadian winger Zach Olsen and Swedish defenseman Måns Gudmundsson. Get highlights of your local high school program by finding IL SportsWire on your preferred social media platforms, and get local sports anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
It's never too early to start thinking about back-to-school preparations. Part of getting your kids ready for the new school year means making sure they're healthy. SIU Center for Family Medicine is here to help with back-to-school and sports physicals. Healthy kids learn better and play harder. Call 217-735-2317 today to schedule your appointment. That's 217-735-2317. SIU Medicine. Forward for you.
Here's Clinton Save-A-Lot owner Dave Jackson on how he works to save you money every day.
I know the retails at the stores in Decatur probably better than most of the people in the stores know. I monitor this closely so customers do not have to. And then you don't have to spend $40 or $30 driving round trip at 60 cents a mile to Decatur or Lincoln or Bloomington. That's real numbers. It's 60, 70 cents a mile to drive your car.
And as Clinton Save-A-Lot owner Dave Jackson always says,
hope to see you soon.
Caves. Venezuela, search and recovery crews continue the hunt for survivors amid the rubble of collapsed buildings. The death toll has risen to more than 1,400. Thousands are still unaccounted for. Massive wildfire burning amid tinder-dry conditions along the Utah-Colorado border claimed the lives of 3 firefighters, a couple of others injured.